Hey, this is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Exchange, joined this week, as we are each and every week, by Matt Morgan and a new panelist this week. You may not know this, but we go shopping for our talent in the Kroger Pharmacy. This is really where we pluck them all. All of our broadcasting talent comes from the Kroger Pharmacy, and we're so happy this week to be joined by Avery Mattix, hopefully the first appearance of many with us, certainly two tonight. Avery, so glad you could come in.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm good friends with Carrington, who's been on here a lot. So I guess I'm kind of replacing her.
That is true. We needed a replacement, and we won't hold that against you that you're good friends with her.
Okay.
She was
Thank
with
you
us
so
for
much.
she was with us for a long time.
She was,
yeah, she was our what is it? Tripod? The third leg on the tripod? She was there for a long time. We had a lot of good times with her, didn't we, Matt?
We did. I think the Philadelphia trip was good.
We went to Philadelphia together. Oh yeah, we were all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff together.
Almost a year long.
And now Avery.
And now Avery.
And I'm okay with that. It's okay. Change. We went in a different direction. That's what happened. We went in a different direction. So Avery, I thought on the first episode here, so people get to know you a little bit, tell us, age, what you do, where you are in your life, where you're from.
Okay. I'm 21 years old. I work at Kroger Pharmacy, as mentioned earlier. I just graduated from Bowling Green State University in the spring, and I'm applying to physician assistant school right now.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
So, what was your degree in?
It was in communication science and disorders.
They're all communication majors over in that pharmacy. I don't know. How does that happen?
Well, I guess you got to be able to communicate pretty well with people when you're handing them prescription drugs, I suppose.
I'm going to tell you what's very odd here. This is so odd, because last year at exactly this time, Fair Week, that's when we met Carrington.
That is right.
At the fair. And did not know that she was a communications major. And she worked in the Kroger Pharmacy, and we got together and said, yeah, I think she would be good. Let's ask her on. And that led to a year's worth of, 2 times a week doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, swear me in here, I knew Avery worked in the pharmacy, but I had no idea she was a communications major. And this is happening during Fair Week. Now, what are the odds of that?
Probably pretty slim. I don't know how many communications majors work at specifically this Kroger Pharmacy.
I'm shocked that she's a communications major. We're talking about you like you're not here. I'm shocked that she's a communications major. I'm so shocked. I did not know that till just this moment.
I think it's certainly interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
We're both above 5'9" also.
Oh,
so
there
we're
you go.
both tall.
Tall girls.
Yes, we both
Yeah.
went to Pleasant High School.
Pleasant. Oh, you're a Pleasant girl.
I am a Pleasant girl.
Oh, how was that?
It was great.
Really?
I love Pleasant High School.
A lot of people like it, and a lot of people don't. It seems like they're all in or all out.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. The main reason I loved it was because of my teachers. I think I had the best teachers ever. A lot of my teachers have left that I loved so much, but there's still very good ones there. But
Right.
I felt very cared about there. Everyone knew each other's name. Very small, very close-knit community, though.
Now, what is a physician's assistant?
So it's like a step down from a doctor. So it's similar to a nurse practitioner, except there's kind of different rules. So physician assistants can prescribe, diagnose. Typically, if you go to a doctor's office and you're not seeing the doctor, you're seeing the PA.
Right.
So,
So you know medical issues.
some. They still have to train me on a lot of them.
Well, I'm just saying, because here was a thing that happened. And listen, I love the people at the pharmacy. I have good relationships with all those girls in there. We're fine.
This is a good story.
Yeah, well, it's true, because here's the thing, though. If you get ill at Kroger, and this is my I think a big fear in life. Here's what happens, no matter what's going on with you, like chest pains or a gaping wound or a 103 degree. Here's what they do in the pharmacy, because somebody always goes and gets the pharmacist.
Oh.
And here's what they do. They come out and they take your blood pressure. That's all they do. You could be unconscious on the floor, and they're going to test your blood pressure. And that's all. We wait for the ambulance to come. I've seen this time and time again. That's all that happens. You haven't seen this yet.
No, I haven't.
Because you're fairly new there.
Yeah, I've been there for a month or two now.
There'll be a day when somebody comes running to the pharmacy and go, uh-oh, a customer's sick or an employee's sick, and I guarantee you, whoever the pharmacist is, they will grab the blood pressure cuff, and that's what'll be done. They'll be sitting over near the time clock, taking their blood pressure. That's what all that happens.
Wow.
Now, I don't think that that's what should be done, but God bless their heart, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, and I also work at Marion General Hospital.
You do?
Yes, I'm a patient support assistant there. So, I mean, the role of the pharmacist, that sounds pretty nice compared to what you'd have to do if that happened at the hospital.
So, like, if somebody had chest pains, what would you do? Your position?
I would immediately do an EKG and basically just put stickers on them and hook them up to wires. And if they are having a heart attack, it will tell us on the EKG.
What would you do if you were at Kroger and there were problems?
Well, those aren't available there.
Right. Yeah, we don't have an EKG machine. Darn it.
Well, also, like, at the hospital, I would let like a nurse know, and then they would call a doctor and all the steps. So at the pharmacy, call 911 and
that happens. They do that. Test blood pressure.
Test their blood pressure.
Test their blood pressure. See, I don't know if that's supposed to be calming or what that is. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's bad, what are they gonna do? Still wait for the ambulance. But if it's good,
there's like a place over there too. I mean, what is it called? Marion General Outpatient Facility, just right across the parking lot. I mean, just put me in the car and drive me over there. Don't take my blood pressure.
Might as well.
Yeah, that's not going to help me if you take my blood pressure. I mean, oh, it's high. Well, then if you're panicked already, it's going to be worse.
That's very true.
I don't know. It's a little. I don't know why we got on this subject, but is that the story you thought I was going to tell?
Yep, that's the story.
That's the one. But have you seen that happen?
Yes.
Yes, they always test your head could hurt, whatever, blood pressure. Get their blood pressure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, every time I've ever seen it happen, I'm like, what's happening down there? Like, oh, so-and-so doesn't feel well. And I'm like, well.
Yeah, but why are they testing their blood pressure? What does this have to do with what they have a brain tumor? Now, let's get their blood pressure.
The pharmacist is doing what they I don't know. The pharmacist is doing what they thought what they should do.
And I like those girls. I'm fine with all of them. It's just a weird thing to do. I think I'm gonna have to ask them one time why they're always testing people's blood pressure.
I think they should get more machines. Maybe like
something.
One to test your heart rate and other things too. Maybe an EKG eventually, just for chest pain, just in case.
Well, what if somebody passed out? I think they would still slap that blood pressure cuff on them just to make sure they're alive. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see if they've still got some blood running through their veins. Now, in your personal life, how much do you want to tell us? What's going on with that? We'll pry anyway.
I just got engaged.
Just got engaged. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm not wearing my ring because it's getting resized right now.
Oh, so very recently.
Yes, very. Like 2 weeks ago.
Very. Oh, how did that happen?
I was in the Dominican Republic with my family and my now fiance, and we watched the sunrise together. And I was very convinced he didn't have a ring because he said a lot of things that made me think he didn't have a ring. But then we were just watching it, and he distracted me by pointing at something in the ocean, and then he came around and proposed to me.
Wow. So, as the sun, you were up that early?
Yes. I can't believe I was either, because I'm not a morning person at all. But yes, it was about 5:30 or 6 in the morning.
Wow.
Empty beach.
So, but did you feel that this was possibly coming?
I thought about it. But then he talked about going and checking my ring size the week before. Oh. And I was like, oh, well, he doesn't know my ring size and he's not proposing to me. And so any suspicion I had, I was like, oh, he doesn't know my ring size, so it's not going to happen. But then it happened.
So he just got you a kind of a generic sized ring and now it'll be fitted?
Yes.
Yes. Now, did you have any doubts when you said yes?
No.
You wouldn't tell us if you did. There's no way anybody's ever going to tell us, but you know.
Well, he was my first boyfriend too. I've been with him for about 6.5 years.
First boyfriend?
Yes.
And it's never parted ways in 6.5 years?
Nope.
Wow. What makes that work?
I don't know. He's my best friend.
Best friend.
That's for sure.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of talk. Because we try to stay away from the politics on this show. So we try to. A lot of the international thing to talk about is relationships because everybody's either in one, been in one, gonna be in one. So we talk a lot about it. So it's interesting to have that perspective because I don't believe we've ever had anybody. We've had people who were married on, I think, but I don't know that we've ever had anybody who was freshly engaged. Most, and especially your age, because I think all the people we've had who've been younger are either single or really, I think they've all been single to be honest, or maybe in a relationship, but nothing serious.
Okay. Also, I lied a little.
You lied
We
already.
had a break for 4 days. Once.
Oh, what happened? Let's just get in the dirt right already. let's start off with the dirt here.
I think we just got too comfortable with each other, and we didn't put in as much effort with each other. And then we just took a small break.
So who broke it? You did.
Yes, I did.
You said I've had enough.
I definitely regret it, but
No, I
it's
understand
been
now.
great ever since.
But at the time, you said
Yes.
it's too much.
Yes, I was just overwhelmed because I was also taking some really hard classes and doing a lot, and I stressed myself out too much, and then I just kind of quit everything.
Now, 4 days. How did that end?
Like the end of the 4 days?
Yeah. How did it come back together?
Well, he just kept reaching out to me and continued to show effort and how much he cared about it, and we ended up meeting up again and talking, and then it's been great ever since.
See, I would forget, honestly. I that's persistence, and I don't have that type of persistence. That's great though that somebody does. I mean, Matt, would you get right in there? And because you're 20, you're still
right.
you're still the young one.
I'm
You're still the
young.
youngest one. So, just 20. So would you have that kind of persistence at that age? It could be just that I'm not that age
I don't
anymore.
know. Probably not. I would think that I would hurt my chances more so than help them. If like for you had called.
It worked here.
Yeah, it did, but like you had called for a break, so I was like, all right, if I just kept messaging you, it would turn out poorly.
Well, I guess the whole break, I just missed him the whole time. I cried all the time, the entire time, and I was just very, very upset the whole time, and the persistence helped a lot.
See, this is where I think there's a different perspective. I cried during the relationship. And then when it's over, that's when I feel relief. There's a lot of crying during, and then I'm just relieved when it's over.
I'm almost there with you. Like there's no crying, but during relationships, a lot of the time it seems like this is a lot of work. I don't really want to do this.
This gets into a little bit of an ugly subject here, but we've been doing shows from the fair this week, and a lot of that is sitting on the midway watching people pass
That is
by,
right.
and you see things from your past pass by every so often, and it's. I felt like I was watching a car accident. Like there goes a car accident by, and I'm like, thank goodness I'm not in that anymore. Thank goodness I'm out of that car.
What a
because
terrible book that was.
Yes, I mean, because I think most people look at people and maybe have that longing of, oh, I miss them. I saw her, and then I thought, oh boy, that's good.
No, I'm like I said, every time I've ever ended a relationship, it's been just relief. I'm like, I'm free. No, I don't have to text
Is there a
anybody.
sigh?
I don't have to text anybody. I don't have to hang out with anybody. I can do what I want to do.
You
when
gotta
I
tell
wanna
them.
do it.
You gotta tell them where you are
Yeah,
all the time.
it's a whole lot of work that
It's
I
like-
just wasn't about.
It's like being on parole.
It really is. You gotta report to your
Oh.
parole officer.
It's terrible.
You were in the wrong relationship then, it sounds like.
See, but how do you know which is the right? See, this is the whole scheme here.
I guess if you're constantly questioning what one's the right one and question if the other person's good enough, I think your relationship is bound to fail. No matter what. I think if you're constantly thinking, unless it's abusive, don't get into
No,
an
I
abusive
understand. No
relationship
abuse, no.
where they're controlling, of course, and everything. But I think if you constantly are tearing down constantly just criticizing them and not thinking about, like, what can I do better as a person, instead of thinking of it like, what did they do for me today? You think of it like, what can I do for them today? And I think that's what makes it stronger.
Well, you know what? I've never had an argument, honestly. I'm not an arguer in general, like that sort of thing, like criticism or that. So I've never had those moments with people. But I think the whole time I'm wondering, why am I here? You know, I could be doing better things at this point. My time, you know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Just I'm in a relationship, and I'm like, you know, this is fine, but like I could be doing better things right now.
Yeah, because sometimes they just want you to sit with them.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
Like a lot of the times, like I would want to hang out with like my friends that I have known for years, and I'm like, all right, I've been talking to this girl for let's say like six months, okay, and I'm like, I've known these people for years, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem when I want to hang out with the friends that I've known for years. Get some seniority under your belt.
See, this is why you have men and women on this show. It's a whole different. It's a perspective.
So I mean, I don't know. I always want to be around my fiance, and I think he also always wants to be around me. And sometimes, I don't know. I'm not thinking about seniority ever, and I have friends who I also love to hang out with, but I think as long as both people are understanding, if you have like, if you're in a relationship where the other person is like, no, you can't, like, I don't want you to go do that, I think that's automatically not a good thing.
Yes.
See, no, it's more of a conversation like, why do you always want to go do this with them? And I'm like, because I've known them forever.
But that might make someone mad, though, to be like, well, I've only, because she can't control that. You know? Because she can't control how long you've known them for. I would I would approach it differently. Like, I would approach it as, like, I don't see them very often, and I just want to see them.
Oh, but see, but that would be a lie. I hang out with my friends quite often.
Well, how often do you hang out with them? Is it like every night of the week? Is it like once a week?
Multiple times a week, I'd say. I have you know, a lot of friends. So if I'm not hanging out with one, usually I'm at somebody else's house. I'm never usually at home.
Okay. And so, do you have a girlfriend right now?
I do not.
You do not. When you did have a girlfriend, how often did you see her for?
The list is short, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had like 2 or 3 girlfriends, and I think the longest one was like 6 months.
Okay. Well, maybe you just haven't built a connection deep with anyone to want to hang out with them that much.
I just feel like I've got better things to do with my time. I don't know.
Support is important. That is number one, and I tell this to everybody because if anybody knows, it's me. Support is the number one thing in a relationship. If you want to do something or you just are doing something and they try to down it kind of passive aggressively to try to have you stop doing it, mistake. They should be your biggest cheerleader, even if they don't agree with what you're doing. They should never criticize it. That is a sign that the thing is going south.
I agree for the most part, except when you think you're doing, like if I thought my fiance was doing something morally like not okay, or I would tell him to I would not support something he was doing that I didn't think was great.
Morally, I think is different.
I guess, like, what do you think would be the, like, exceptions to that?
Well, like don't hang around with that group of people. They're a bad influence on you. Don't do that. What are you getting out of it? Anything like that. They should not be giving those sort of opinions to you, because usually what it really is about is they feel either jealous or they feel neglected. And they're going to attack what you're doing. And your choice of career is also something they'll go after. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Or if you find something new and exciting, and they, you know, I don't like that, you know, that it just takes you away from me. Well, whoa.
So what
Red
if
flag.
You were hanging out, like you had a best friend, and they just did really hard drugs, and they wanted you to do these hard drugs.
Oh, no,
and sometimes you did them.
No. You don't do that.
So then but would you be okay with her being like, I don't think you should hang out with these people because they're a bad influence on you? If it was something that
No,
she
that's
thought was
good.
bad.
I mean, but that's pretty stark.
Okay.
You know, don't you
So
think
where's
that's...
the line for that, though? Like,
She's going to be good. This is going to be good. No, I think that's...
I think that falls back under the moral.
Carrington never did that sort of thing.
Yeah, no.
No, I think that's good. Because I think that's a good question. I think that's stark, though, because if somebody is doing something that's going to be a danger to them, yes. But there's no danger in hanging out with your friends. There's no danger in trying something new. There's no danger in maybe you were down a certain career path and you decide, oh, you know, I'd like to do that as well. Those are the things they shouldn't be criticizing. I mean, drugs, bad eating habits. I mean, these things are criminal activity. This is stark.
So basically, like laws. If they're breaking the law, would you say? Like,
Yeah, I
friends
think
that
if you break the law, well, even you can be moral about certain things. I mean, there's a big issue here in Ohio now, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, is marijuana. Because it was illegal for recreational use prior to just a few months ago, and we covered that election big, and Carrington and Matt were both here that entire time, and that was interesting because they're of a different generation than the rest of us here. And I found that fascinating because, most people would probably tell somebody to stop doing that because they feel it's bad for them. But now that it's legal, well, I don't really know that it's your business.
Well, I think
So it
it'll
is
probably.
laws for the most part.
Probably.
Well, I think it'll probably be more along the lines of like tobacco. Like people who smoke tobacco always tell the younger people who haven't smoked tobacco yet, don't do it.
But I think you can do that. I think, now see, tobacco, yeah.
So I think
But
those
also,
kind of be
like,
one and the
cheating
same.
is not illegal. I think you could certainly point that out and say, I don't like that. But you gotta know where these lines are. These are just things you have to know.
I think it's just like I feel like it's just like if it happened, you're gonna know like that kind of thing.
If you can ask yourself, how is this hurting me? And the only answer you can come up with is that person's gonna be angry and I have time away from them, that's bad. Because time's a big thing in relationships, as we have discussed. And if they're jealous of your time, that's bad, because that will never change. Even if you want to hang out with them, it's just you don't want to give something else up.
Yeah.
Because do you know all the good opportunities you can miss in life by having somebody in your way like that?
I guess it just depends your perspective on it. I mean, if someone were to, like my fiance were to approach me with something like I don't like you doing this, I think I would be like, okay, is this how is this hurting me?
Yes.
And then how is this also hurting them?
Right, but if jealousy is the only thing you can come up with, or time away from them, is that good enough?
So then I'd also look into why are they feeling insecure and jealous here?
Right.
Should I be more reassuring to make sure this doesn't happen? Why are they still insecure when I've tried to show them? Am I not showing them enough? I guess that's another thing.
See, I don't
What
know
can
about
you
that.
do?
See, that seems problematic to me.
Problematic?
That seems problematic. Only because I think then you're starting to question yourself. Am I doing the right thing?
I think you should always question yourself.
Really?
I think questioning yourself is key to trying to become a better person every day.
Oh, I think personally, but I don't think it should be prompted by another person. If you're feeling fine and they walk up and say, I just don't see you doing that. I think that's bad. It's like, how do I look today? If you think you look fine, and obviously you do because you dressed yourself that morning, and that person goes out of their way to say, you just don't look very good today. Now, why did they do that?
Well, what if you guys put your hair in green mohawks this morning, okay?
I thought about it.
And you thought it looked really good, and someone told you it didn't look good. I mean, it's all about your own perspective.
But if I did it, I think, again, that's more on them than me. People do weird stuff all the time that I think is... I don't have any tattoos. I think that's a little off. But if you want one, go ahead. I'm not going to judge it.
Yeah?
I mean, I know the majority of society has them now, I think. So I'm not going to rally against society. It's just not for me. But it's not something I would ever criticize in somebody else.
That's true. I don't know. I guess it's so... Everyone has a different line of what they think is acceptable and not. So it's hard if you have different lines in a relationship of what you think is okay and what's not. I
think so. I just think the other person can't be insecure. What do you think, Matt?
I think you probably have to set boundaries at that point, before it gets too deep into the relationship. If you have... I don't know how far along until you'll find out that there's different lines there, but at some point there would have to be boundaries set.
I just think there are red flags that people let go by, and they do stop doing things, and then they look back when they are no longer 20. They look back on their life and go, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I made the wrong decision. I knew a lady, I won't mention her name because I know a lot of people know her, but she got a job. She was a dance instructor, and she got a job offer to teach dance on cruise ships. And in that day, that was a very big thing. And her husband, she went to her husband to talk to him about it, and her husband said, I want to go home and have a family. And she went home and had a family, and to her dying day, she would always bring that story up, which to me, it was the road not traveled. Not that she regretted her family, not that she didn't want her kids, but because this man, that he couldn't wait, it became an issue for the rest of her life. And I don't want to be around at 80-something saying, boy, I wish I'd have done that. It doesn't come right away. I think that's what people think. They think the regret's going to come right away, not doing it. Doesn't. Because you're in the honeymoon phase with that person. So, but it'll eventually wear off.
I think as long as both people are very understanding of each other, I think you can make any compromise possible in that situation. I think it seems like both of them were very set in their own opinions of what they wanted to do. And I think sometimes it's easy to hold resentment about those things too, to just be like...
Also, the older you get.
Yes.
Because as you go along in life, the opportunities are not coming as quick.
Yeah. And I think you also, like, when you make that kind of decision, you have to be like, okay, this is what I want to do. You have to put that other decision in the past, because then you'll build more resentment, I feel like, thinking about what could have been.
See, but the ultimate sad thing is, though, if God forbid a divorce does happen, then it's a gigantic resentment that you have, and it's a gigantic regret, because now the person you stayed with to avoid that thing isn't even in your life anymore. So now it's, oh, gee whiz, what did I pass on for this person that I don't even really like anymore?
Yeah, but then let's say she would have went on this cruise ship and taught these dance classes, and let's say their marriage ended up getting rocky and they ended up splitting early on. What if she never married again? What if she never had a family? Then she probably would have thought, why couldn't I have just stayed home and had a family with my husband?
You think? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that typically a lot of people who have the opportunity to do a job like that, they'll typically, I feel like usually they'll take the job opportunity, because building a career like that, like Scott, at the time a job like that was like sought after. So the fact that she got offered a job like that, I think a lot of people at the time would have probably taken that, and because you could always just look at it and say, I could have a family later.
See,
but
that's
this
the
job
difference.
offer is not always going to be around.
See, people see those things as equal, but they're really not. And I'm not downing people who have families, because most people do. But what I'm saying is, that job opportunity may never come around in your life again. That might have been it. That was your shot. The family, you can still do that 3 years from now. It's not hard to find somebody and do the things necessary to have children and get married. This is not hard. People marry many times in the society today.
That's true. But as you get older, you also might have problem having children. What if she would have went and done the dance instructor position and then came home and had problems having kids?
Well, that could have been.
Could have been.
But I think that's a little overthinking it.
I think we're overthinking it completely already.
But all I'm saying is,
I love it, but...
It's fascinating, because these are all what-if situations.
That's true.
She didn't end up being a bitter lady. I'm just saying that was clearly, and she didn't get a divorce. She was married to that man for the majority of her life. And she had many kids. But it was just, you could tell she always wondered, what if I had done that?
Yeah. And I think we'll all have, what-ifs in our lives about some things.
You only regret what you don't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think there's good and bad in whatever decision you make.
Oh, well, that's okay. You know what? We got to go to break here. We're going to come back and talk about all kinds of other things, because the holiday just happened yesterday. So we're going to talk about that and more with Avery Mattix and Matt Morgan right after this. Scott Spears back with Avery Mattix and Matt Morgan here on The Exchange. So glad to have Avery with us now. And so far, so good?
It's been great.
Enjoyable?
Yes, very enjoyable.
Everything you thought it would be?
And more.
And more. There you go. That's all you need to hear. And remember, there will be 2 episodes this week of The Exchange, so tune into both of them with Avery, and from here on out. 4th of July. 4th of July was yesterday. This is actually being taped the day before the 4th, but it will come out the day after the 4th, so it's the 5th when you're seeing this. 4th of July. What does this mean to you, Matt?
Oh, I love the 4th of July. We usually go to my uncle's house every year. We have a big like family get together almost, because they live in a neighborhood where it's majority of the family and people we know. So you can just kind of walk like up and down this big stretch of yard that's just like sectioned off by a whole bunch of people's different backyards. But like everybody who's like it's just a good time. I love the 4th of July.
We'll be spending it at the fair tomorrow.
We will, and then
Yes.
after we leave the fair, I'll be going to my uncle.
Or yesterday. However, whenever you're seeing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be with Mary Ellen tomorrow night at the fair. That's going to be a lot of fun. Patriotism full out.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Avery, what's the 4th mean to you?
Well, I always end up working at the hospital on the 4th, so I haven't really celebrated. I haven't went to any fireworks celebration on the actual 4th for a long time, but I usually go to my great aunt's house eventually, like on the 6th or the 7th. We're doing that on Saturday.
Do you believe that people understand what the 4th is? Now, see, the things we described there are all very nice. I was invited to a cookout myself on that day. But do we really get it? I mean, we're at 248 years this year. We're almost at the 250th anniversary of this country. And I don't think people know what went down on that day. I don't think people pay attention to it. I don't think it ever crosses their mind why we celebrate it. I think it's all fireworks and cookouts, and that's that.
Well, I mean, I think it just sounds strange to come out and say, the 4th of July means a whole lot to me, because otherwise I wouldn't be American, and I love America. I don't know, it's just weird.
No, I'm not saying
it's
that.
more just how, I celebrate the 4th of July. I love how we celebrate the 4th of July. I mean, I like fireworks, but you've seen fireworks once, you've seen fireworks a billion times. But, I mean, however, how you celebrate, that's different.
Just come out to the street in front of my house tomorrow night. 4th of July, people be lighting them off like crazy, because that's what people do now. They don't have to have any rules or laws or anything. Fire them off.
I think it's interesting. It's just an interesting thought, but there are a few people in the world who are, I guess in the United States, who are gonna wake up on the 5th with a couple less fingers than they started with.
They certainly busy night at the hospital.
Yes, and they will be. I will see them probably.
There you go.
Well,
So what do you think, Avery? Do people get what the 4th is really about, or is it just fireworks and hot dogs and hamburgers?
I would say most people, it's fireworks, hot dogs, and hamburgers. Those are my favorite parts to a point of the 4th of July, I would say. But I do love America. Very, very patriotic.
Now, what does that mean? I love America.
Well, I just love that I can, just the freedom to do whatever I want, to a point. There's not things I really want to do that are illegal, so I don't really, there's nothing like that. But I just love that there's not a lot of things that I can't do here.
Well, I'm not saying, to Matt's point here, that people have to go around "I love America" la-di-da-di-da on that day. For years, and I probably will do it again this year on radio, I have always told the story of Ben Franklin. Because I think that is the quintessential American story that people don't know. I mean, we know about George Washington, and we know about the presidents, and we know about the Declaration of Independence.
Like the unsung hero of the Revolutionary War?
Well, not about the war. The story of Ben Franklin that I think is most important is, here you had Ben Franklin. People think that the United States of America was instantly recognized by all other parts of the world. It wasn't. We won the war, but the other countries of the world were not recognizing us and saying, yes, that they're the United States of America now just because they won the Revolutionary War. And Ben Franklin was sent to one of the more powerful countries of that time, France, and he was sent to Paris to try to get us recognition from Paris, from France, as the United States of America. And he stayed there for a long time as a diplomat. And they would always announce him as Benjamin Franklin from the colonies of America, not the United States of America. And the story goes, and I think he wrote it in his diary, is that his last night there, he drank a nice bottle of wine. He liked his wine. And I guess there was a fly flying around, and he thought that, what if that fly got into that bottle of wine and was preserved there for 200, 300 years, and then came out of that wine, would he realize what everybody went through to make this a country, to get to the freedoms that we have today? And the story goes, he was getting ready to leave the next day, and when he walked in to the consulate there in Paris, they announced him as the Honorable Benjamin Franklin of the United States of America. So there you go.
Did not know that at all.
Well, so the question is, if you were locked in a bottle, if you were preserved 200 years and could go back in time, do you think they would see it differently than how we see it, the 4th of July?
I'm not sure.
I think it wouldn't be hot dogs and hamburgers, and
it wouldn't
it would be
be
fire. They like fireworks in those days, but I don't think it would be all that. I think it would be much more independence, which is what it is. It's Independence Day.
Yeah.
So how exactly do you think they would celebrate it then? If how we celebrate it isn't the
I think they would
the
celebrate
founding fathers' way.
I was asking people who the third president was at the fair and could not get a right answer from any of the kids. So here lies the problem. I think that's what we're missing. I don't think they know who Ben Franklin is. I don't think they know who wrote the Declaration of Independence. I don't think they know what the Revolutionary War was all about. I don't think they know what 1776 means. I don't even think they know what 1776 is. Certainly in that time they would have.
I think you know what 1776 is. I think if you graduated, if you went to a public high school, you probably know what you learn about the American Revolution in every social studies, every history class you take. It's
okay.
You know what you know.
You
about
know it because it was taught to you. But what is the signification of that?
Well, 1776 was when the year that we won the Revolutionary War.
But did we win it overwhelmingly?
No, and actually we were losing until some French dude named Marquis de Lafayette came in and then taught everybody how to be a proper military.
That's a little iffy. You know, we don't really know those things for sure. I think that's a Google thing.
Well,
that's a YouTube video. See, they would have that right in those days.
Now it's just one of those things. How do we know anything's true from the past? Because we weren't.
They
there.
would because they were there.
Yeah, but we weren't.
We can't talk to them.
Yeah.
No, but I've spoken to several of the relatives.
You were there.
Oh,
It's just like being there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, Avery, do you know who the third president was?
This could be wrong. Is it John Adams?
No. Now, see, there you go. I bet
Oh.
the reason I ask this question is because it is the man who signed the Declaration of Independence. You know who that was?
Thomas Jefferson.
See, but they would know that then. And it's not any bad thing against you. It's just they would know. That's what we lack on Independence Day.
I knew it at one time. I knew those answers at one
I'm
time.
saying I won't go any beyond the first three presidents, but the first three I think you should know. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, I was close.
He was in there. He was in there.
I wouldn't have got John Adams. I could tell.
So
you
you
the
don't know
first
who,
and the
you wouldn't
third.
have known who the third was.
No, I knew the third was.
But if you left John Adams out, you might have moved him up to the second.
I don't know much about John Adams.
No, but did you know he was the second?
No.
So you wouldn't have known who the third was.
Well, no, I knew the third was Thomas Jefferson.
So you just know the second was like an open spot?
I guess. I don't know them in order. But like.
So you would know who the third was.
No, I knew he was the third.
So who do you know? Let's run this down.
All right.
What numbers do you know? Just for the record here.
Alrighty. So we got.
I got Abraham Lincoln the other night. I got Andrew Jackson, I think only because he was on the $20 bill. That's the answers I got at the fair. As who the third president was.
So let's see. I got George Washington at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I got Thomas Jefferson at number 3.
Right.
Well, now I got John Adams at number 2, but I didn't know that one before, so you know.
Thank goodness we're giving an education here. We strive to be educational and informative on this show.
I mean, you got, 45, 46 at Donald Trump and
It's
Joe
looking
Biden.
bleak.
You got 44 at
1, 2, 3, skip a few.
uh,
45, 46 is what this sounds like.
Well, I mean, I know. Fine, okay. So I do believe I probably have it all kinds of wrong, but I do believe the 13th is that one Abe Lincoln, not Abe Lincoln.
No.
23rd.
No.
60?
16.
She got that one right.
That's lame. Weird numbers.
So there you go. But anyway, that's your educational system at work for you.
I the only reason I
And we
knew
don't
that-
teach history, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody is unastute or doesn't know anything. We just don't really pay attention to that stuff at all.
I just don't. As far as teaching the order of presidents, I just don't know what the value would be in knowing the order.
It's
of
not
people
about the
who are
order.
elected.
It's just you should know who signed the Declaration of Independence, and you should know
Well, I
that
mean,
he
I
was
know.
a president and where he falls in that line. You only have to go 3 deep.
I think a lot of people could name at least 3 people who signed it.
I feel like I've definitely been taught a lot of these things, but I think it's one of those things where if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right, and on the
And-
4th, I think we should use it.
Yes, I agree. Because like I
Every
used to know
4th of July trivia, mandatory.
No. I think we went to Independence Hall with Carrington, matter of fact, just back in Philadelphia in, what was that, April? We went there and spent a few days, and we all went down to Independence Hall. That's something we made a point to do. That's where the Declaration of Independence was signed. We were in the building. We saw an original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
No.
We did.
We did not.
We did. There's a picture.
No, there's.
He was not even awake that day.
The original.
He wasn't conscious.
No. We went into the building. There was no original
was.
copy. He's lying.
That's right. I'm lying about the whole thing. I wasn't there. Why would I lie about this?
No original copy. And we, as far as I know, the only thing we did at Independence Hall was look at the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell is not at Independence Hall. You're wrong there, but that's okay.
So, okay.
Don't let that hurt you any, that your facts are all crooked on this whole thing. Liberty Bell's across the street in a building, in a museum.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the building we went into.
I'm talking about Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence
You mean
was
the one
signed.
that the lady held up and said, "Don't worry, I'm not holding the actual thing
Because it's over here.
No.
Okay. I don't think you were paying. You were kind of hazy that morning.
No, I was. If anything, I was listening to the lady.
Okay. In any event, that's where the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Okay.
And we went in there and heard all of the stories and saw the Liberty Bell and everything. Now that, maybe people should do that on the 4th of July. Make that a trip in your life. Go to Monticello and see where Thomas Jefferson lived. These are museums that are open. If you're in Marion, Ohio and don't have the money, go to the Harding Memorial. He was a president, you know. I mean, do something. Spend it with Mary Ellen Withrow. She was the Treasurer of the United States. Do something. That's what we're doing. That's history. These are very patriotic symbols. Very
I don't-
patriotic people.
I don't know that spending the 4th of July with a former or current politician is patriotic just because they're a former or current politician.
I think it's way more patriotic to get on a boat and watch people very irresponsibly set off fireworks that they're legally allowed to do.
Yep.
Really?
I'm with Avery on this.
This
one.
is how we celebrate the birth of our country?
I have never been more patriotic than when I see
Most
that
people
happening.
couldn't even tell you when the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Herein lies the problem. This is what I'm saying. We'd rather get on a boat and
Spend time, spend
Well, it's a
time
little-
with your family
It's a little bit of a trick
and
question.
watch people
Because-
have the freedom to do things.
The whole
let
when
off
was
fireworks.
Yeah.
the whole when was it signed
Oh.
thing is a little.
I like fireworks.
Trick
I'm
question,
just
though.
saying, I don't think this is the symbol of the 4th of July.
I also work at a fireworks store.
Fireworks are cool.
Oh, it's a little bias.
Colorful,
A
explosive.
little bias.
Well, a little, yes.
This is a family business?
It is.
There
My
you go.
uncle's. It's called Fireworks Farm. It's by Pleasant High School. It's on an
Oh.
actual farm. Like
It's
our-
on a farm.
Yes. It's
Is this
the
open all
thing.
year round?
I think you can order online all year round, but there's specific days that they're open. They're open right now.
They're open right now. Are they open through the weekend? Because people will be letting them off over the week. Okay, so
Yeah.
when people see this, you can go. Well, tell people how to do this.
Well, it's on Newman's Cardington Road. It looks like an actual farm. Like there's silos and everything. You can go online to fireworksfarm.us and order, or you can just walk right in. We have everything. We have fireworks and sparklers and basically anything for kids and anything for adults.
It was a good promo.
Thank you.
That was good. There you go. Fireworksfarm.com.
.us.
.us.
Apparently .com was taken, so.
So see, but that's now we're getting a biased opinion. Now I
I'm
see what's
sorry.
happening.
I
It's
love
okay to be.
fireworks.
No, fireworks are fine. I think they're fine. So you're gonna have a big fireworks show now that we all can come watch?
I work, so I can't.
Can't. No. Sometime, hopefully. We got to get this story in because this is a 4th of July story for sure. The country's most notorious hot dog eating contest is moving forward without its star stomach after 16-time champion Joey Jaws Chestnut was banned from inking a deal with a company that makes plant-based Franks. Organizers of the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest said Tuesday that they banned Chestnut from the fourth event after he signed an endorsement deal with Impossible Foods, which recently launched a new marketing campaign specifically targeting meat eaters. Major League Eating, the organization that oversees professional competitive eating events, including but not limited to hot dogs, said in a statement that Chestnut has chosen to represent a rival brand rather than compete in its storied Coney Island contest. For nearly 2 decades, we have worked under the same basic hot dog exclusivity provisions, the statement said. However, it seems that Joey and his managers have prioritized a new partnership with a different hot dog brand over our long-time relationship. Chestnut, who has demolished over 1,000 hot dogs in the contest since his quest for Coney Island dominance began in 2005, said on social media that he was gutted to learn from the media about the ban. I love competing in the event. I love celebrating America with all my fans all over this great country on the 4th, and I love training for this event. Impossible appears to be staying out of the beef. We love Joey and support him in this contest. In any contest he chooses, a company spokesman said in a statement with NPR. It's okay to experiment with a new dog. Meat eaters shouldn't have to be exclusive to just one wiener. And that's a quote. Well, now we know what the 4th is really all about. Shoving those hot dogs down your throat in 10 minutes to be the big Joey Jaws Chestnut champion. What do you make of this, Avery?
I think watching a hot dog eating contest is very patriotic as well.
You like this too?
I don't like that they banned him.
You don't?
No, I don't.
But he's got a deal with another hot dog company.
That's not very freedom of them.
But
It is freedom.
But they're
Take your
fake.
hot dog somewhere else.
But they're fake hot dogs, correct?
Right, so that
Those-
really...
I feel like those can't even compete with real hot dogs. So what's the real threat there?
But he's their spokesperson. So they're giving him publicity to promote another brand.
So were they paying him a lot of money?
No.
Well, I don't blame him.
He wasn't under contract or anything.
So I don't blame him at all. Because wasn't it a lot of money? Like a...
Yeah, but it's your contest. You can decide who you want to be in it and who you don't.
Well, I'm not saying that they're. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not within their rights of banning him from the contest. I just think that banning him from the contest was a poor decision because you banned the biggest. You banned the biggest name in the Major League eating sport.
By the way, there is an update on this whole story that Joey will be going to El Paso to a military base to perform this event. Now, I guess this is covered on ESPN. I didn't realize Nathan's hot dog contest is covered on ESPN. So that's why they're saying you can't be on here. What if you wore an Impossible shirt? But anyway, so he's going to El Paso. It will not be on ESPN. It'll be streamed at something. Find it if you want to find it. But he's going to try to eat more than the person who wins at Coney Island eats. And also, he's going to try to do it in 5 minutes where they have 10 minutes to do it. So he's trying to get a lot of publicity down there. And apparently, now I don't know who's paid for this, but in Los Angeles and Miami, they will be flying a banner that says, "Watch Joey Eat." I guess on the streaming.
See,
And but we did learn from Nathan's and the Coney Island event that they did approach Joey and they did say, "Listen, we'll let you in this year, but end your relationship with them and become our sponsor." And he declined. So there's another wrinkle.
sounds to me like they're jealous. They said,
No.
maybe we should have made this guy our spokesperson before they did.
Did they offer him money though?
I'm
Or-
sure they did.
But
No,
we
that
don't
won't
know
be
how much it was. Is he has to pay bills too?
He's got money.
Oh well.
He's won millions of dollars with these eating contests.
I don't know that you win millions of
Oh,
dollars.
he's got millions of
at
dollars.
the contest.
He's got millions of dollars.
Maybe now that he's
I
signed
was
his
sure- he's been
multi-million dollar sponsorship.
No, he's been on my show. I was shocked at how much money this man has. He's a millionaire.
This is like them having an athlete and then expecting them not to take NIL deals.
Right,
So
but
and that's where all the money is.
right, but you wouldn't put him in a commercial then. You wouldn't put him on your field. You're right, it is like sports. If you are a basketball team and you have a great basketball player who you've made a star and another team comes and offers them a deal, they can take that deal, but you're still not going to let them wear your jersey all over the place.
That's fair.
Especially if you offer them a contract as well.
See, but I don't know that that's the same thing because I mean you're under a contract with that team, who so like it. He wasn't under a contract with the what is it, Nathan's?
Right, and they're aware of that. They were saying, we'll waive that this year. Keep your deal with Impossible this year. Come on in. We'll let you in. But take our deal. End your relationship with them before next year.
It's probably like a lot less or something. I don't know.
They gave him a chance. He had an offer there.
It was, I don't know.
We don't know the offer.
Yeah,
though.
maybe it was a poor
Is
offer.
it the same? Is it
But
more?
well, how much do we have to put on Joey, though? He made the deal with Impossible. He made the choice not to go
If
with Nathan's. That's his choice.
He's probably just upset that they banned him to begin with, and then.
Oh yes, well he said he was
like,
gutted to learn from social media.
He learned it from from social media. They
From
didn't
the
even,
media,
they
I
didn't even
guess.
tell him that he was banned. I think that he might be a little like they didn't
Well, they
even
don't have
tell
to do that.
They didn't even. Yeah, I know, but they didn't even give him the courtesy. He found out via the news. So I wouldn't want to sign a contract with somebody who banned me from their competition without telling me.
Now, I'm not sure of the timeline here, but I'm sure the banning happened after he refused to take their deal.
I don't know. I want to see the timeline.
I'm sure that's the timeline because they said we were willing to waive it this year. We will let you in, but you have to in the next year before the next one sign with us. And when he said no, that's when the banning happened.
So what I would do if I was this Impossible hot dog brand that signed the biggest name in professional eating, I would run my own hot dog eating competition using the Impossible hot dogs as a
Well,
big marketing scheme.
they're trying, but nobody's going to care.
I mean, not really. He went to some military base. Are they going to use the Impossible hot dogs that's sponsored by this big business? No, probably not like the Nathan's hot dog eating contest is.
He will lose. This is all ego, in my opinion. Because you can never base anything around yourself. People get the big ego, and they think that they are the center of the universe, and they can go anywhere, and things will be as great as they are. And you are propped up by the people around you. The best eaters are at Nathan's.
Name another one. Name another one. Name somebody.
Well, hold on. I'm not done with my thought here. Let me get through the thought here. Sometimes it's difficult. The best eaters are at Coney Island. They're not in El Paso. The TV deal is a huge thing. ESPN versus WatchJoey.com or whatever it is. He's lost that. He's lost the championship. He's lost the idea of continual championships. He's lost the idea of breaking the record there. He's hurt himself. They are not going to build a competition around one person against a competition that has a storied history long before Joey Chestnut. You think everybody gets a big ego and thinks that they can do that. It happens in television, it happens in radio, it happens everywhere. One person is a breakout star on a show and they think, oh, I can do anything. Somebody offers them a lot of money and they go do their own show and it goes into the toilet quicker than you can imagine. And the original show they leave may take a hit, but it always stays on.
I think Nathan's maybe shouldn't have taken him for granted to begin with, maybe. Because they didn't have a contract with them. I think they should have jumped on that before he got offered anything else to avoid something like this.
But don't you think there's some ego involved here?
I would probably have a pretty big ego if I was Joey Chestnut too.
Yeah. Name another.
He's got big jaws.
Name another person. Name another professional eater.
No, right now he is the biggest.
But can
you name another one?
Well, to be honest, before this I couldn't name one. I mean, this is just a story we're doing here.
Oh, I've always known who Joey Chestnut is.
Yes,
Well, he was on the show. I knew him because he was on the show.
Like everybody,
you know who Joey Chestnut is, but you don't know who Thomas Jefferson is. What is wrong with America?
I know who Thomas Jefferson is.
Oh, my Lord in heaven. John Adams, I don't know much about him, but Joey Chestnut, slam dunk. This is what America's coming to, folks, on the 4th of July.
It's not like you know much about him. It's just like he's a professional eater. That's about all I got.
I know he eats hot dogs, and he's really good at it.
I didn't even know he ate hot dogs until he got banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating competition. I just knew he was a professional eater.
See, you didn't know much about this man.
I knew he was. I couldn't name another professional eater. I couldn't even tell you why I could name Joey Chestnut as a professional eater. I don't care for professional eating.
But when he was on the show, he was just so-so.
I didn't listen to that interview.
There you go. I don't know. All I'm saying is this isn't going to work. I'm telling you right now, it will be announced who won the Nathan's contest. Nobody's going to care what he does down in El Paso. People who follow him directly will, but that's it. And that's going to be a much smaller number. He's made a career mistake here.
I don't know about that.
Do you think someone else will have a rise to fame if they're in the contest?
Oh, they will.
And you think that he'll be the next, he or she?
Because they'll be the winner this year. Everybody will see it on ESPN. They'll get all the publicity. and that name will then be known. I'll be able to tell you Friday who another eater is.
I bet you, Friday after. Yeah,
but that's
after the
only
roster
because
comes
this
out.
man has stepped aside. He's made a mistake.
He didn't step aside. He got pushed aside, and then when he signed a contract. With
No,
somebody
no,
else,
they
they're like,
they offered him. They said, "Listen, we'll grandfather you in this 1 year, but in the next year you have to sign a deal with us." He declined that. He stepped aside.
Well, you see, that's not.
You can't do everything you want in the world.
Look,
Companies and competitions have rules.
If you sign basically, they basically wanted him to sign an exclusive rights deal at the end of this year because the moment you sign an exclusive rights deal, they could just hit you with bottom of the barrel contract. Because like, what are you really gonna do about it? Not take it? You can't take anything else.
Well, if you want the money, then
you made a deal with us that you will take only our contract.
take your
what
money.
Are you gonna do?
Take
Don't take it. We're gonna sue you.
Okay, take your money. Go down to El Paso. Go ahead.
Maybe this is better for him.
Good.
Maybe he doesn't have as much competition at
Yeah.
these things. Maybe he'll not have to eat so many hot dogs to win. He can maybe slow down a little bit if the competition's not as good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's free to do what he wants to do, too, and it
Yeah.
is getting a little bit of publicity. I'm not begrudging the man to go to El Paso and fly things and stream your event. I'm just saying he's not going to get nearly the publicity he would have had he stayed in the event he was in. He's made that, to me, is a mistake. That is not good career advice. Because now, the further we get away from this story, the more people are going to forget him. And as soon as we get this new winner, that's going to be the name.
I don't know about that.
It will be. Because nobody's going to care what's going on in El Paso. I mean, he didn't even have an event to go to. He obviously wasn't thinking very straight about this. This whole offer didn't even come up until last week when the people invited him down there to the military base to do this.
Well, I mean, he didn't get banned until like last week.
No, I think it came a little earlier than that. But, whatever. It's America. It's the 4th of July. You can go to whatever eating contest you want to. But when they tell you not to come, that's their right. It's a private contest. And they obviously don't feel it's going to hurt them.
I think they're probably mistaken.
I think people just watch people eat. And the other problem is he's got no outlet. That's also a big problem. He's trying to stream a singular event, a one-time thing on a military base, and trying to get all the publicity out on this within 2 weeks. And they've got ESPN. Now tell me who's going to be watching, where the bigger audience is going to be.
See, but I think it's more of the fact that, like, now that Joey Chestnut has this event that he has been advertising, how many people do you think who were originally going to watch the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Competition who are now going to not because they want to watch Joey Chestnut?
None.
I don't know about that.
That number will be so small because it's going to be so hard to find his event. And I believe it's the competition that made him. Nobody knew who he was before the competition. And it's the competition that people watch. It's not the player or the person.
So would you say the same way as like it's the Super Bowl that people watch, not specifically the players?
There are players at the time, but eventually they go and a new player comes in and then they're watching that. The last Super Bowl we had was the most watched Super Bowl of all time. So everybody in it, clearly the people who played in that Super Bowl weren't playing in the first one.
That's a very good point.
And I think that's the mistake he's made. He's Joe Montana. He's yesterday now. He was the big guy. Now there'll be a new big guy.
I don't know. I think there's still a case to be made that Joe Montana is the greatest of all time.
But he
in
will not.
football.
Facts will say the most watched Super Bowl of all time did not have Joe Montana in it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but Joe Montana also. How many people owned a TV?
But it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt the Super Bowl.
It's a
The
whole
loss of
different
Joe
time.
Montana didn't hurt the Super
Whole
Bowl.
different
Yeah, but
time.
we're also far more fragmented with streaming and other things people can do. So it's a whole different world there too. It used to be easier to get television ratings. Check primetime television. What people were watching in the 80s as to now. Much more in the 80s. Cable channels now, streaming services. They weren't there then. Well, we've come to the end of this episode, but we've got another big episode coming this week, so don't miss that. For love nor money, Avery will be along with us, Matt will be along with us, and we're going to talk a whole lot of interesting current events. So don't you dare flip that dial. But for this episode, this is Scott Spears heading for the dugout.